Hello, I'm Jim Johnstone. Welcome to my short presentation on executive presence, what it takes to get ahead and stay ahead in your career. This presentation came about because my clients asked me to help them develop their own management talent as they were promoted to executive positions. I drew on my 40 years of experience working in large corporations like Texas Instruments, IBM, and Applied Materials, and my own research into the subject. In this short presentation, I can give you a small taste of the things you need to know about executive presence, but to learn more, I'm going to recommend two books available at Amazon.com. The two books are Executive Presence by Sylvia Ann Hewlett and Own the Room by Amy Sue and Muriel Wilkins. In Executive Presence, the author covers the three pillars of executive presence: gravitas, communication, and appearance. While in Own the Room, the authors focus on communication strategies. These two short books are a complement to each other. They're very easy to read and they're packed with useful examples that we can all relate to, as well as tools and tips that we can apply to our own careers. This slide shows the hierarchy of leadership. When we get our first job, we must learn how to manage ourselves and interact with others on a team. Then we have to learn how to lead small teams, then a department of people, then functional groups, and finally lead at the enterprise level. Along the way, competencies we use shift from primarily technical to primarily leadership. In a large firm like IBM, there are many incremental steps and opportunities to develop leadership skills. In the smaller firms I consult with, each transition is a quantum leap for the person making it, so they need my help as a coach and mentor. For her book, Executive Presence, Sylvia Hewlett interviewed 266 top executives to find out what their definition of executive presence was. Analyzing the results, she found that the three pillars of executive presence were gravitas, communication, and appearance. Gravitas is how you behave and how well you deal with the pressures of the job. Communications include what you say and write, who you communicate with, when you communicate, and how you communicate it. It also includes how well you listen. Appearance does not mean how good you look. It means how appropriate you look for the job you're in or the one you're seeking. It includes how fit you are, what you wear to work, as well as after work at those times when you're visible to management, clients, and suppliers, as well as the appearance of your office. The Google definition of gravitas is dignity or seriousness. The way I like to think about it is that when I'm under pressure, I behave in a way that inspires confidence in others. CEOs selected gravitas as the top characteristic they looked for in an executive more than twice as often as the second characteristic, which was communication. A person with gravitas is a person they could have confidence in and trust to run their business or to do business with. Gravitas is what creates confidence in you as a leader and gets people to work with you and support your mission. Look at these two pictures. Based on appearance alone, which leader would you want to follow? Both have gravitas. Your answer may depend on the situation at hand. The lady on the left appears positive and has a can-do attitude that assures us she will deliver what we need, while the lady on the right is calm and serious. Her folded arms and focus send a message that she's looking for us to deliver something to her. Our body posture and facial expressions say a lot about what is going on inside our head and contribute to our projection of gravitas. Let's break gravitas down into its essential elements. Work comes with a lot of problems. Handling them tactfully and without whining or complaining projects confidence and grace under fire. Leaders need to know when to make a decision and have the confidence to make decisions in the face of ambiguity and imperfect data. People want their leaders to show them the way forward by making timely decisions. Good leaders have integrity and tell it like it is, not how we wish it could be. They stay true to their values. Those are the leaders we trust. Without trust, there can be no leadership. Leaders need to be likable. They should have empathy for the stakeholders and the people they're leading. This is called emotional intelligence. A leader's reputation represents all of their past behaviors. Leaders need to behave consistently with the ethical and moral standards expected by the people they lead, or they can lose their job, like Brian Williams, a recently suspended NBC News anchor, or Amy Pascal, the recently fired former Sony Pictures CEO. Leaders have to be able to describe the future state of things by painting a picture in a compelling way to draw people to their cause. Regardless of your gender, these are the elements of gravitas, according to Hewlett's CEO survey. How can you project gravitas? It's easy. Be prepared, show confidence, and be consistent. Always know your facts. Support any proposals with 3 compelling reasons, and back up each reason with the 2 pieces of data or evidence. Look people in the eye and stay calm when facing questions or counter-arguments. Anticipate that there are going to be some, and remember, you can't learn anything from those who are agreeing with you. Stay true to your values and don't get distracted by tangential discussions that pull you off topic. Communication could be making a presentation, participating in a meeting, talking on the phone, writing an email, blog, text message, or tweet. Communication includes listening to what others have to say and understanding the facts as well as the issues and emotions behind what they are saying. You connect to people with the energy you bring to your communications. Energy starts with your body, your fitness level, your posture, your gestures, and your facial expressions, the tone and rhythm of your voice, and these are all important even when you're talking on the phone. Energy in written communication comes from being clear and concise, along with the words you choose to have impact. Remember the 5 C's of good communication: clear, concise, complete, correct, and calm. Executives pay attention to those who can command a room. To do this requires both assertiveness to gain the floor and a sense of humor to retain it. Remember, we want to be likable as leaders, so keep the humor positive. Your body posture and facial expressions help you to command a room even when you're listening. One of the best ways to connect with people is to tell a story. Stories have drama, and they hold our interest until we hear the final outcome. Maintain eye contact when you're speaking, and don't talk to the projection screen, the computer, or doodle on your notepad. Turn your cell phone off. Keep it short and simple, supported by facts and data, but not too much data. It just looks like BS. Put yourself in the audience's shoes and make sure you answer the question, what's in it for me? Look at the body language of the people in the room to get some feedback on your remarks. Absorb the cultural cues and the mood of the people. Small talk before a meeting is a good way to do this. In their book, Own the Room, Amy Sue and Muriel Wilkins talk about developing a signature voice. No, they don't mean like Bob Dylan or Frank Sinatra. Your signature voice is when you have a good balance between a strong voice advocating for yourself and a strong voice supporting others. The author suggests that we have a natural preference for either being directive or supportive based on our situation as we grew up during life. We need to be aware of that and work to strengthen our supportive voice if we're naturally a driver, or strengthen our self-advocacy if we're naturally more supportive. The voice quadrant that you're communicating from is a function of 3 things: what you believe and what you assume others believe. Your communication style, that's who you talk to, when and how, and the energy you project. Remember, you can be communicating with your body posture and facial expressions even if you're just sitting there not saying anything. As you rise up through the ranks, your responsibilities and audience change, so you have to change your communication strategy and tactics to match them. As an individual, you need to articulate your own point of view and connect with your teammates. As a first-line manager, you have a point of view of your department, and you need to develop and motivate the people in your department. Managing a group of departments, you must also be an advocate for your function and make sure their value proposition is clear. You also need to seek alignment with other groups who you depend on and who depend on you to get the job done. If you're an enterprise leader, you add the responsibility for conveying the purpose and goals for the organization and aligning with a large group of stakeholders, including customers, suppliers, shareholders, news reporters, government entities, and neighbors. When you're in signature voice, you're driving to accomplish things by enlisting the aid and support of others. You can clearly paint a picture of the future state and the benefits of achieving it. You use advocacy to state your case, inquiry to dig out the facts and learn what others are thinking, and framing to provide context so that your position is viewed appropriately. The energy you project is confident and patient, allowing others the time they need to buy into your point of view. You're resolute in your own values, but open to hear what others are thinking and learn what their issues and emotions are. This combination of assumptions, communication styles, and energy put you in signature voice. I just described to you what signature voice looks like using the ACE model. You can study this reference chart from Sue and Wilkins' book, Own the Room, to understand the ACE model for other voice quadrants. If you're having a leadership problem, take a moment to think about your assumptions, communication styles and strategy, and your energy. Then map it to this chart to get ideas on what you can change to be more effective as a leader. Appearance doesn't mean good looking, it means looking good. That is to say, appropriate for the job you have or the job you want. I was once mentoring an engineering manager who aspired to be the general manager of his firm. He came to work every day in jeans and a t-shirt. When I asked him why he dressed that way, he said that was the way the workers on the floor dressed and he wanted to show he was one of them. So I asked, if a customer came into your factory right now, would they recognize you as the leader? Or suppose your boss's boss, the person you'd report to if you were the general manager, came in. Would his impression of you be, that's my next general manager? Or, for an assembly line worker, you're pretty smart. The famous motivational speaker Zig Ziglar said, dress up to get up and go up. Why not dress for the job you aspire to? Nancy Etkoff at Harvard Medical School did an experiment to determine if makeup affected how women were perceived as leaders. She showed 268 subjects images of the same woman's face going from minimal makeup to moderate to dramatic or glamorous makeup, either flashing the images for 250 milliseconds or allowing subjects ample time to study the images. Well, of course, people thought that faces with more makeup looked better than those with less. No surprise there, and no need to sell your stock in the cosmetics industry. They also thought the faces with moderate makeup were the most competent people. But the most amazing thing was that they made this decision in 250 milliseconds, and then they didn't change it given much more time to examine the images. So appearance is a big factor, and not just your personal appearance, but how your office looks. Please get rid of the clutter and the things that anchor you in the past. As a leader, you want people to focus on where you're going, not where you've been. Okay, let's go over the key points. The three pillars of executive presence are gravitas, which 67% of CEOs said was the number one characteristic they looked for in an executive. Communication skills, which 28% said was the number one characteristic. And appearance, which 5% said was the number one characteristic. Remember, when your behavior can inspire trust and confidence in others, in your leadership ability, then you have executive presence. No one is born with leadership traits destined to be captain of industry. We have to develop those over time. The framework I provided you today can help you manage your own development if you use it to inspect where you are now, get some feedback to validate that, and mentoring to help you evaluate your behaviors and their effects on others. Then consider changes in your thinking and your behaviors to enhance your own executive presence. For more information, the books Executive